Paul Neer was the superintendent of a mine in Mexico in 1924. One evening in November of that year, he was out riding with his wife when he was surrounded by a group of Mexican nationals who started shooting and killed him. His wife got away. Neer's wife and daughter alleged that following this incident, the Mexican authorities did not do enough to identify the murderers and bring them to justice. The family claimed to have suffered damages of $100,000 due to the loss of Paul Neer, and they sought this money from the Mexican government. Essentially, the argument was that Mexico had not met even the minimum standards of justice in relation to the Neers as foreign nationals, and as a result, Mexico had not provided the legal protections which international law requires each nation to extend to foreign nationals. Now, there are some difficulties here. Different nations have extremely different conceptions of what justice means, and different nations have extremely different systems of justice, and different amounts of resources that can be allocated to justice. So there really is no one-size-fits-all standard of justice which can be applied everywhere. What then is the requirement of international law? The commissioners in this matter expressed the requirement in these terms, which have become a classical statement of the law, repeated many times over. They said, the propriety of governmental acts should be put to the test of international standards. The treatment of an alien, in order to constitute an international delinquency, should amount to an outrage, to bad faith, to willful neglect of duty, or to an insufficiency of government action so far short of international standards that every reasonable and impartial man would readily recognise its insufficiency. Whether the insufficiency proceeds from the deficient execution of a reasonable law, or from the fact that the laws of the country do not empower the authorities to measure up to international standards, is immaterial. In other words, to amount to a denial of justice, the conduct of a nation must be so poor that every reasonable person would think that it amounted to a denial of justice. Unfortunately, in this case, when that standard was applied, they found that while Mexico had not met the standards which the Neers had expected, the Mexican response was also not so poor that it failed to reach the minimum required standard.